system is vicious.
After the Kanye ranking, I put up a poll to see who would get the next video, and it was between Drake and The Weeknd, and as you can tell from the title of this video, The Weeknd won. Which I'm actually pretty happy about, because revisiting The Weeknd's discography was a lot of fun, for the most part. There are pretty high highs, but pretty low lows as well. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Also, apologies if I sound a little nasally. I'm getting over a cold, but I want to start editing this video, so if my voice bothers you, go watch Anthony Fantano.
Oh boy, smooching time.
Kissland is honestly kind of a weird entry in The Weeknd's discography. And what's funny is, like, I don't think this is a bad album by any means, it's just a little boring and forgettable, especially in comparison to what The Weeknd would release before and after this. The writing is a little lackluster, notably in places like Tears in the Rain, Professional, and The Town, but it does pick up on songs like Belong to the World and Live For, specifically the Drake verse, which I enjoy a lot. Abel's performances are really good as usual, even if he's not really saying anything. Like, he's singing, but my ears cannot make out if he's just smushing words together or if it's actually a cohesive sentence. His flow on Odd Look is swaggy, and the harmonies on Adaptation are really good. Although the songs kind of start to blend together a little bit towards the end, while I was inching towards the end of Wanderlust, I kind of dozed off and didn't come back until the remix started, so I had to go back and re-listen to like 3 songs. It's like when you were reading in class in school as a kid and suddenly you hear everyone in sync turn the page and you realize you're like 10 pages behind. That's what this album feels like. You notice I'm not outright saying any song is bad, because they're not. I think they're fine, but boring and make me want to go to sleep. What's missing from this album that would go on to become a staple of The Weeknd's music to come are those infectious hooks. For weeks, I've been singing songs like Angel, 6 Feet Under, Call Out My Name, Hardest to Love, and At a Time, amongst others, but I don't think I could recite one hook from this record after multiple listens. And that ties into the writing not being anything super special. If I have to hear the Wanderlust remix one more time, I'm gonna fall into a coma and not wake up until the next Weeknd album drops. I'm running in circles. This album is noticeably missing Il Angelo, who produced basically the entirety of the trilogy tapes, but nothing on Kissland, and I think that's chose. Not that this man single-handedly carried the production for the albums that he worked on, but notice the ones he did versus the ones he didn't. I'm just saying. I honestly don't think there's anything really special about this album. It had 5 singles, yet I don't really remember any of these being as popular as the singles from what would come next. We have a lot to unpack with you later. I honestly don't have too much to say about this one. It's a little underwhelming, and I think it gives the wrong idea about what an amazing artist Abel actually is. 5 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Let's move on. Thursday is very clearly the middle child in the trilogy tapes, and I honestly don't think it's as good as the other two. But unlike Kissland, this mixtape doesn't put me to sleep as much, and has its fair share of highlights. Let's get my negatives out of the way first. Thursday takes a little longer to come to life than House of Balloons and Echoes of Silence. Lonely Star is a good intro, but it goes on for way too long. 6 minutes is not that long for a song, but I think it was unnecessary. Life of the Party is my favorite song on here, but it's followed by the title track, which is my least favorite. Once we get past here and into the zone and the birds, the mixtape starts to pick up a little bit. The production is hit or miss at times with songs like Thursday and Rolling Stone. They're pretty repetitive for the most part and don't really change or had a lot of depth to them. They kind of sound like they're on loop, and when I listen to them, I kind of feel like I'm stuck in the infinite vacuum of space. Other than that, I think the production is pretty good. The zone can feel repetitive, but I think it works a little better here because of the Drake feature. It gives the tape a change of pace with it being the only feature. Valarie is a standout track on here with the creative drums and a great performance. I honestly love the part where the instrumental breaks down and we get to just hear the drums. I mentioned how the lyrics aren't anything special on Kissland, and to an extent the same could be said about Thursday. I will say there's definitely more good writing on here opposed to boring or lazy writing. Life of the Party, as I mentioned, was my favorite, and the lyrics here are fun and creative. I also enjoy the writing on both Birds tracks. Those drums on part 1 hit really hard. Where I feel the writing can be a little lazy or boring are songs like Heaven or Las Vegas. And don't come at me talking about, bro, do you even know what the song is about? Songs can have meaningful subject matters and be bad. Don't be ridiculous. This tape is fine, but like I mentioned, I think Thursday suffers from middle child syndrome. These tapes seem to have a lot more effort put into them for some reason, and that's really it. 5.5 out of 10, I guess. Here's the tracklist ranking.
It's kind of like your hard of hearing.
What?
I said it's kind of like your hard of hearing.
What?
I said it's kind of like your hard of hearing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I really am. I really don't dislike this album, but it's also just a little boring. If I had to describe the trilogy tapes as a whole, I would say they're moany, slow-paced, and not created equal. In the case of Echoes of Silence, it has some more memorable songs than Thursday, but doesn't match the quality of House of Balloons. The title track kinda puts me to sleep. The lyrics are fine.
You're a whore, just admit it.
And the performance is very pretty, but I feel like Mario when I put the controller down.
Ah, spaghetti.
I'm so sleepy. Same Old Song is a pretty ironic name considering it sounds just like Valarie and Gone. Honestly, put Montreal there too while we're at it. I know I'm being pretty negative, but there are some good things to this mixtape. The intro is a cover of Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson, which Abel has said is his favorite song of all time, and I have to say, I love that he really made this version his own. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if anyone who didn't know this song thought it was originally by The Weeknd. It's incorporated really well on this tape. Initiation is pretty good too. I love when he does that singy rapping thing. He does it on songs like this, Sidewalks, and Heartless. XO and the Host is probably my favorite track on here. I love the drums on the first half, even though I think XO is superior to the Host. I will still usually listen to the whole song. And that's kind of it. I really don't know what to say. This review is a lot shorter than the rest because this tape is so like it exists. Like it is a tape. When I listened to this, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely listening to music right now. Far from perfect, but far from worthless. 6 out of 10. Here's a tracklist ranking.
Silence, wench. I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.
My Dear Melancholy is technically an EP, but after asking around, a lot of people said I should include it, so shut up. If I see any Slim Shady EP people in the comments, you're getting blocked.
Blocked! You're blocked!
At 22 minutes long, with only 6 tracks, Abel manages to make a pretty solid project as he transitioned from the R&B electro-pop sound of Starboy to the synthwave style of After Hours. The theme of this EP seems to be heartbreak, and each song is either about Bella Hadid, or I don't know, whatever her name is.
A motherfucking,
or Alex Russo, respectively. Call Out My Name actually samples his song Earned It, and god does it have great fucking drums and haunting vocals. That reverb on his voice gives the impression that he's in this big empty room. Shit is gorgeous. While the performance and the production are beautiful, the subject matter ain't so pretty. What else is new? He talks about his ex not putting in as much effort into the relationship as he did. He still wishes deep down that she would need him as much as he still needs her. Try Me does a total 180 as he attempts to let go of her. Although this song follows its predecessor with those haunting vocals, this motherfucker Mike Will Made It pops up for the production here too, which is awesome. Side note, his versatility is not talked about enough, and that man is a top tier producer. Anyway, on Wasted Times, he compares his former relationship to the current relationship, at the time that is, talking about how his current partner is better for him than his previous one. The one thing every song in this project has are those reverby vocals and awesome drums. I love how the vocals fade into the compression as the song ends. It becomes very isolated and eerie. The Weeknd collaborated with French DJ,
What the fuck?
whatever the fuck his name is, I forgot how to pronounce that, on 2 absolute bangers with I Was Never There and Hurt You. I Was Never There has this amazing synth that comes and goes throughout the track. This is also my favorite hook on the album. It goes so fucking hard. Oh, and not to mention there's a great fucking beat change. This man just keeps spitting and holy shit, it is beautiful. I'm obsessed with the outro. Hurt You slows it down a bit as Abel distances himself from his ex. The track has a sexy ass hook and smooth keys. He once again samples himself, this time sampling Starboy. The clappy drums contrast from the snappier feeling drums this project has a lot of. The last song, Privilege, is a far from happy ending. He's going back to his old ways of drugs, alcohol, and meaningless sex. This track also has snappy drums and probably the most haunting and melancholy feelings on the whole project. Soft keys, easy vocals, and even some sarcasm and irony with the opening lines, enjoy your privileged life. He's probably just salty because she can do magic and he can't. This EP is really solid. I don't think the music is groundbreaking, but it's really enjoyable and these songs are great to drive to at night. 7 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking.
Okay, look at it. Long backstory short. I got a balloon at the carnival. I drew a face on him. I sprayed him with special lifelong lasting spray I created, and I named him Balloony.
So I know I haven't been the most kind to the trilogy tapes thus far, but I think House of Balloons is pretty good. I don't think it suffers from the same problems as these two do. It's not boring, it doesn't drag, and the music is pretty enjoyable. And most importantly, it doesn't put me to sleep.
Wake the fuck up!
High for This is the best intro out of the 3 tapes and comes in energetic and banging, and then I spoke too soon. I'm glad the Weeknd strayed away from this sound, man. Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm a broken fucking record. Do I even have to say it? Loft music is sick. It samples Gila by Beach House, and I love the way Zodiac flips it. Too bad him and Abel fell out. Songs like Coming Down, The Morning, and The Party and the After Party give us those infectious hooks that I mentioned that were lacking on a lot of these earlier albums. The best example of this has to be Wicked Games, the lead single to this project that's well deserving of all the praise. Gorgeous vocals, tough, deep guitars, slow but hard drums, and amazing harmonies and lyrics. Before Beauty Behind the Madness came out, this song was really my only exposure to the Weeknd's music, and I think 11 years later, this song still holds up great. I also love the aesthetic of this album. The black and white amps up the dramatics, the anti-everything stance he takes, and how he frames this album as a project all about drugs, sex, and other addictions. An interesting fact about this tape is how 5 songs Abel originally wrote for House of Balloons ended up on Drake's 2011 album Take Care. Shot For Me, Practice, Marvin's Room, Crew Love, and The Ride, and of the last 2 he's featured on. That album is often regarded as one of Drake's best, so it's cool to know Abel wrote a fourth of it. This was clearly a very meaningful project to Abel. Learning that the so-called House of Balloons was even a real place where he used to throw parties with him and his friends makes this project overall just feel a lot more personal. 7.5. Here's the track list ranking. Remember those infectious hooks I was talking about? Yeah, this album has the most out of any album going forward. Don't get it twisted. Every project from Beauty Behind the Madness and on has great choruses, but in my opinion, this album has the best ones. I mean, even from the intro, this album is so fucking catchy. The biggest thing this album has working against it is the length. At 69 minutes and 18 tracks, this album is the Weeknd's longest project to date, and you can really feel it at times. Whether it's a Stargirl interlude, Attention, or a song I like with True Colors, this album has some songs that should have been cut to make it flow a little smoother. Those 3 tracks specifically. Although, I think every other song is great. Oddly enough, the 2 lead singles to this album aren't even close to the best songs. For reference, this album has 7 singles, and I think the other 5, except you, are better than the title track and I Feel It Coming. The production on this album is amazing. Doc McKinney helms most of it with 11 out of the 18 tracks under his belt. We also get some fun surprise appearances like Metro Boomin on 6 Feet Under, Diplo pops up on Nothing Without You, and even Benny Blanco lends his talents on songs like True Colors and Attention. I was genuinely shocked to find out that Daft Punk only produced the songs they're featured on. Truly, I thought they were going to play a much bigger role in this album, but regardless, you can feel their electric influence all over this project. Abel himself even helped with the production on 13 of these songs, giving him the most production credits than anyone else on the album. Those fucking drums on False Alarm make me want to slap the shit out of somebody. The bass on A Lonely Night is funky as fuck. The pads on Reminder just fucking bang. We get really fun performances from Abel here. Man is singing and dancing his heart out. Die For You is gorgeous. Ordinary Life has such a smooth, swaggy flow, and the harmonies on Rockin' fucking rock, bitch. The features are also phenomenal. Daft Punk's production and background vocals make the song feel nostalgic yet futuristic. Kendrick Lamar raps his ass off over those sliding high-pitched guitars. And the best feature on this whole project has to be Future. Man is the only one asking any important questions. Have you ever fucked a bitch that bougie? Abel has, like several times.
I'm a virgin.
Apparently not. In terms of songwriting, there's nothing breathtaking here. I enjoy his bars and Reminder about how he can't sleep on him anymore. I think Die For You has nice lyrics, but besides that, there's really nothing too remarkable about the songwriting. And that doesn't make it bad by any means. All the music sounds phenomenal. This is a fun, colorful dance album that absolutely succeeds at what it was going for. I don't see how you could not like this album. 8 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Now let's move on to the next album. Come in. Hey, is everything okay? A copyright claim? In the mail? Wait, the video hasn't even been uploaded yet. They had a feeling. I'm not even done editing it. This is bullshit. You know, I deserve to make some money off of this. Maybe you should get a sponsor. Who the hell is gonna sponsor me?
Empty walls, empty skin, looking for something to fix that. Stevie, This video is sponsored by Stevie B Art, a young, talented artist who is drawing unique, colorful, and funky art and is now open for commissions. Why waste your time trying to draw something yourself? You couldn't if you tried. By commissioning an artist, you get your own personalized art that puts money into the pockets of young creators and not ugly, licensed posters from greedy corporations. Stevie, Stevie, Stevie. Buy a commission. Buy a tattoo design. They're all hand-drawn for your lazy ass. Posters, tiny canvases, fucking street signs, I don't know. She does it all. Stevie, Stevie, Stevie.
Thanks for calling. This is Han Solo, and I'm going to be keeping you company for the next few hours right here on the Midnight Shift.
Dawn FM is the equivalent to this video. I honestly couldn't have thought of a better way to describe this album. The music is so fun, upbeat, and catchy, yet the theme of this album is helplessness. The lyrics are so draining sometimes. I'll be singing along in the car and it'll totally kill my vibe. I'm kidding, I actually can't stop moving when I listen to these songs. And obviously, I have this album ranked at number 3, so I love it. Dawn FM continues that synthwave electric pop sound from After Hours and takes it a little further. Where After Hours took a darker tone with those deep subs and punchy drums, Dawn FM rarely slows down and keeps the party going. I would say the only song these two albums have in common is Moth to a Flame from the deluxe version of this album, which I hadn't heard until re-listening to it for the video. It's a good song, a lot of fun, and is definitely the last call song at the club. And it's a collab with Swedish House Mafia, which is really cool. Although my favorite thing about this album is how different it is from After Hours. Tonally and musically, these are very different albums despite sharing a similar sound and only releasing about 2 years apart from each other. But enough about After Hours. Let's talk about why Dawn FM is a great album. A critique I have for a lot of Abel's older work is how the songwriting is nothing special, but this album has beautiful lyrics that I have to mention. On Gasoline, when he says,
"It's Friday at my dialect. I know there's nothing after this. Obsessing over aftermath. Apocalypse.
on Is There Someone Else, when he says, and on my favorite song, Out of Time, when he says, the entirety of Out of Time is so beautiful, from the lyrics, the perfect sample flip of Midnight Pretenders by Tamako Aran, and that gorgeous fucking melody. Holy shit, I get chills every time I hear this song. The instrumentation is straight out of a sci-fi movie with those synths and subs on Gasoline, the jumpy guitar on Sacrifice, and that groovy bass line on I Heard You're Married Now, which also has a killer feature from Lil Wayne. I love the part where he says, "If I ain't your husband, I can't be your hybrid." His flow over this beat is fantastic. Tyler actually pops up on this album too, and while the feature is short, it's pretty dope. I really hope we get to see more music from these two in the future. The Weeknd spoke about wanting to make his best album yet with this one, and listen, while I don't think this is his best, it's easily his most unique and creative concept and execution so far. While having your album be like a radio show is nothing new, this record is different in its very 80s synth pop sound and its more late night dry feel, especially with Jim Carrey being the host of the radio show. His voice here is eerie but comforting at the same time. Like Starboy before it, the hooks here are so fucking catchy. I want to punch a fucking hole in the wall. Best Friends has an amazing chorus, and that fucking pre-chorus where he's like, "Friends no more, you don't want to have sex as friends no more." Fuck, I can't stop shaking my ass to that shit. How Do I Make You Love Me also has an energetic hook with great background vocals and hard-hitting drums. Take My Breath has such a grand chorus, and the fucking breakdown is the hardest shit ever. Are you kidding me? Less Than Zero is a good outro, although it's not one of my favorites. It has that same energetic feel as songs like Sacrifice and Don't Break My Heart, but doesn't give off the same feeling as those songs, if that makes sense. No. Regardless, I think Dawn FM is a lot of fun, and so far my third favorite album of 2022. Mr. Morale and Sick being the first two, if anybody cares. 8.5 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking.
I don't do cocaine! doesn't even know what it looks like. I don't know what it looks like!
This album is so sexy. Like, there are few albums with sex appeal, and this is one of them. Kaleidoscope Dream and Princess Self-Titled, and this one. I would say I would have sex with these albums.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
Is that weird? Is saying you would have sex with an album weird? I don't care. I would have sex with these albums. They're hot. Beauty Behind the Madness almost took the #1 spot, but it ended up at #2, and trust me, it was close. This album is damn near perfect. I find it so odd that Kissland came out 2 years before this. These albums are damn near opposites of each other. How Abel made a total fucking snoozer and came back 2 years later with one of the best albums of 2015, I don't know, bruh. Often came out a full year before the album, and it's better than anything on Kissland. I am so serious. But enough about that album. Beauty Behind the Madness is phenomenal. The production and vocals are crazy. Also, something I don't typically mention, but the arrangement is fucking perfect. There are a ton of phenomenal bridges and breakdowns on songs like Shameless, Angel, Losers, and more. Just from the intro Real Life, you can hear the shift in sound Abel was going for with those guitar riffs and strings. It's immediately contrasted by the drop on Losers, and I love the lyrics on here. The Weeknd and Labyrinth's verses are short but hit so fucking hard. This album, like all the other ones after it, have incredible choruses. Can't Feel My Face, Prisoner, and Acquainted, which in my opinion has the catchiest hook on here. Jesus, I could not get this one out of my head.
Get out of me head! With your head! Get out of me head! No.
Shameless also has an incredible hook and a crazy breakdown with that guitar solo. Holy fucking shit. The melody is insane. Like I mentioned, this album has beautiful production. The drums on Angel are cinematic, the strings on Earned It are majestic, and that guitar on Tell Your Friends has me ascending. When I listened to that song, I was like, wow, this is very Kanye, and lo and behold, the song was produced by Kanye and Mike Dean, which is super fucking cool. This album's lyrical content is filled with similar themes to this point. Love, heartbreak, drugs, being sober, and relapsing. We see that last theme has a track all to itself with Dark Times. It features Ed Sheeran and Abel singing about the addictions they fall into during their depressions, stating it as a warning sign for any potential partners. We also get some pretty dark songs disguised as dance cuts with In the Night and Can't Feel My Face. In the Night tells a story of a survivor, not to mention this song is a homage to Michael Jackson by imitating his signature sound. Yikes. In the night she hears him calling, in the night she's dancing to relieve the pain, she'll never walk away, I don't think you understand. He's singing this while the music is going crazy, and for years I thought nothing more of this than a dance track. The song is reminiscent of Marilyn Monroe's survival story. She was as a child and often spoke about it in the media. The studio where this song was recorded used to be Marilyn Monroe's old house, and Abel came up with the concept in her bedroom. It's pretty tragic. On a lighter note, Can't Feel My Face is about a cocaine addiction. And it was nominated for a Kids' Choice Award. Honestly, I love it. I guess how you could miss that on a surface level, but I really don't care. This song fucks. This song is also pretty MJ inspired, which is fine. I like Michael's music, but that man is burning in hell right now. Anyway, my favorite song on here is probably The Hills. It takes everything that works for this album and mushes it into one song. A crazy beat, awesome lyrics, a range of delivery, and a great hook. This is a song I would kill to hear live. The bass would probably destroy my eardrums even with plugs in, but it'll be worth it. My grandkids will be like, Grandpa, why can't you hear? And my wife will be like, the hills have eyes. I love the eerie nature of this song, the flat delivery of the verses, the energetic chorus, it's damn near perfect. This album is easily a 9 out of 10. Here's the tracklist ranking. Now onto the #1 pick.
After Hours.
In November 2019, The Weeknd released 2 songs, Heartless and Blinding Lights, both fucking bangers. In February of 2020, he would announce his newest album at the time, After Hours, set to release on March 20th, 2020. Now, why am I explaining all of this? Well, you see, everyone was really excited about this album, but something happened just a couple days before it was released, and because of it, this project was terribly overlooked, and it really is a shame, because Abel poured his blood, sweat, and tears into this album, had a great rollout, had a single that would just not leave the #1 spot, and made his best project to date, and it came out 9 days after the World Health Organization declared COVID a global pandemic. What are the fucking odds? That time was super weird for everyone. We were all in different situations. Personally for me, I started working 7 days a week to pick up slack at my old job caused by COVID, so I had no time to listen to new music at all. I think I had given the album a listen at some point, but never really revisited it, and I actually vividly remember seeing something about The Weeknd like a month later and being like, oh shit, he put out that album. The Grammys also didn't give Abel any nominations the following year because he decided to perform at the Super Bowl instead, which is insanely fucked up. I know I'm giving way more background than usual, but it bothers me so much how such a special album was glossed over for so long. But now, I'm gonna go track by track and tell you why this album is so special.
Finally!
This album has themes surrounding guilt, loneliness, heartbreak, withdrawal, infidelity, recklessness, and more. It's got this dark feel to some of the songs mixed with that 80s new wave swag, and they are now synonymous with The Weeknd. Alone Again starts very similarly to songs from My Dear Melancholy. Very slow, echoey, there's this sense of vulnerability in Abel's voice, but then about a minute and a half in, these synths come in and the tone of the album does a total 180. We are not getting My Dear Melancholy, this is a totally new story. The second half of the song beautifully lays the foundation with a gorgeous hook and vocals. Those drums are infectious in that hook, I couldn't stop singing that shit. Too Late gets these sick ass reverse snares, and when the beat drops and the keys in the background are subtle but they do some heavy ass lifting. The track is fast paced and has Abel taking all of the blame for his failed relationship, asking for forgiveness from his partner. Hardest to Love is next, and this song is so beautiful. Abel talks about his past behaviors in a relationship, continuing to blame himself for its demise, saying how he's literally been the hardest person to love and finding it hard to believe that his partner would still want to be with him after everything he's done. I fucking love that bridge! The track's instrumental takes a lot of influence from liquid funk and it matches the tone of the project really well. The drums are fast, there are these smooth synths and subtle horns, I love it. Scared to Live first premiered on Saturday Night Live roughly 2 weeks before the album's release, and a good friend of mine actually showed it to me in the car. I remember loving it on that first listen, and after a ton more, I still love it, if not more so. It's a heartbreaking ballad about how thinking he was protecting his partner by keeping her close, but he only poisoned her view of the love she truly deserved. She was only staying out of fear of being alone, and Abel shows remorse by encouraging this woman to get out of there and not be afraid to find something new. There are these amazing keys towards the end, grand drums, and the main takeaway is The Weeknd's breathtaking performance. I mean, that chorus is so big and tragic, it really makes you feel for him and his ex. The part where he says,
You always take the chance to focus on someone else, 'cause your heart only knows me.
It's such a common thing for people in unhealthy relationships to go through. I've literally seen it with people I know. Snow Child is one of the album's most underrated songs. I'm obsessed with those drums. The hi-hats keep my head moving. Abel does that singing, rapping thing I've mentioned before that I really enjoy. I like that he gives us a small break from the grander, larger scale songs and breaks it down with some lyrics about his past, addressing his fast come up to fame, and past vices like drugs and women that wanted him as he blew up. His flow is smooth and swaggy. I love this part.
For that money I've been feeding. Cali was the mission, but that would take a leave it.
The music video is really cool. It's animated and goes through different phases of his life from House of Balloons to the present. Escape from LA is one of the album's darkest and most lethargic moments. It has Abel dismissively addressing his partner for her cheating past. He eventually realizes that they have to get out of the city to live a good life together. This track gets its name and vibe from a 1996 film of the same name. It's about exiling all citizens who don't conform to the hyper-conservative views to Los Angeles, which became an island after a huge earthquake. I love that bridge into the outro. It's so fucking smooth, and the pads and snaps in the back add to that slow motion feel the whole song gives off. The next song is Heartless, and this shit is a fucking banger. This was the lead single to the album, and I think it captures the feel Abel was going for perfectly. It's fast-paced, bassy, and a lot of fun. Metro Boomin made the beat for this, and the drums fucking bang. You can feel those deep synths and subs in your chest, and Abel has been running through the pussy. He gets so much pussy falls out of his pocket. He can turn that pussy to a faucet. Wow. His words, not mine. I love how energetic the beat and deliveries are on this song. The hook, the verses, the arrangement, it's so good. Although there is a Lil Uzi remix of this song that really doesn't hold a candle to the other two remixes from this album. The music video is fun too. We just follow Abel and Metro around getting fucked up. There's not a lot to this song, but it doesn't need a lot. It just works, man. Faith has those 80s synths and somber vocals, singing about self-indulgence and comparing drug addiction to losing your religion. That flow and breakdown on the second verse makes me want to slap the shit out of someone. I think I've said that enough in videos for you guys to know what I mean. The second chorus goes insane, and the build-up sounds and synths are so fucking good. Another Metro track, bruh. The instrumental takes a shift in the outro with the drums fading in favor of the ambient synths and sirens. It's super surreal, you almost feel like it's happening in real time. It's trippy. Abel's vocals become soft and it sets up the next song, Abel's most successful single, Blinding Lights. This song finds Abel in a constant state of distraction that he only gets relief from when he's in the presence of a woman. This electro-pop instrumental is ripped right from the 80s with those synths and synthwave drums. The pads, the keys, this shit is so beautiful, and as someone who worked in retail when this song came out, this was one song I never got sick of. Me and the homies were in the aisles jazzercising to this shit. That chorus is so catchy, and I cannot stress these accolades enough. In the US, Blinding Lights topped the Billboard 100 for 4 weeks and went on to set new records as the song with the most weeks spent in the top 5 and top 10, as well as the first song to hold a spot in the top 10 on the charts for an entire year. It is the longest charting song by a solo artist on the Hot 100 of all time, spending 90 weeks on the charts. The song finished 2020 as the year's top Billboard Hot 100 song and peaked at number 1 on the Canadian Hot 100, giving The Weeknd his 5th number 1 on those charts. It topped record charts in the UK and 36 other countries. On November 23, 2021, it was ranked as the number 1 greatest Hot 100 hit of all time by Billboard. It's The Weeknd's most successful single worldwide to date and was the best performing global single of 2020, earning 2.72 billion streams globally, according to the IFPI. It was also the 8th best performing global single of 2021, with 1.61 billion streams. The song was the 4th most played track of 2021 in the UK. On Spotify, it was the most streamed song of 2020 with nearly 1.6 billion streams, and is the 2nd most streamed song of all time on the platform. Holy fucking shit. I know that was a lot, but I truly did not feel that it was right to leave out the crazy accomplishments Abel has from this song, and I believe it's so deserving. My favorite song is next, In Your Eyes. I'm obsessed with the synths and saxophone on this song. Max Martin and Oscar Holton produced this song like there was guns to their heads. Abel becomes more vulnerable on this song, giving himself up to the feelings that he can see his lover and how it makes him feel. Those keys and swinging drums make me want to shake my ass. The hook is so beautiful. Even though Abel's relationship is falling apart, his partner keeps a smile and a strong facade to hide how much she's suffering. He knows that his partner is hurting because it's shown in the way she looks at him, in her eyes, but she chooses to ignore it and look on the positive side. But by ignoring the reality of the situation, the relationship gets worse. The saxophone at the end is insane. I find myself rewinding to the start of it every time the song ends. The Doja Cat remix of this song is pretty dope. I definitely enjoy it more than Lil Uzi's Heartless remix. I think her verse adds a new perspective to the track. The guitars that back her verse are fantastic. And even though it's not the version I always go to, I could get why it would be for someone. Next is Save Your Tears, another fucking banger. This song is super 80s and synth heavy. The synths on the refrain are awesome and that deep sub on the hook is fucking sick. Once again, this song focuses on a past relationship and recollects the experiences that they went through together, while also providing no emotional support for his ex. This is an amazing dance track. I truly can't get over how many bangers this one album has. Repeat After Me is the sole interlude on After Hours. The song features Abel brainwashing his partner into loving him after the two have split up and she's with someone new. The track features the signature synth and psychedelic heavy production from Tame Impala's Kevin Parker, as well as some vocals in the intro. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen more from these two, especially with how well their current styles line up with each other. Finally, the title track. This song is the longest on the project and uses its 6-minute runtime so well. This song is about a failed relationship ending in heartbreak and serves as an apology letter for his past transgressions, as he begs for reconciliation. The song's dark vibes and altered vocals over hard-hitting production are reminiscent of the style seen in Abel's earlier music like the Trilogy tapes. That break right before the second verse is an amazing build-up. Those samples, drums, and bass make his track so tragic yet fun. And that moving sub on the chorus, bruh. Take a shot every time I say synth or sub, you'll fucking die. Now the outro to the standard version of the album is Until I Bleed Out. It describes the end of Abel's journey throughout After Hours, with the record's ending signifying that Abel's body has run out of blood. He's given every last ounce and effort and emotion he can to the ventures that he's undergone over the course of this album, leaving him unable to keep pushing forward for these relationships. I absolutely adore the lyrics on the chorus saying, I love how glitchy this song feels, borrowing those opening chords from the first song Alone Again. Even though the song is repetitive, it really hits and does a great job of capturing that lifeless feeling he's trying to make us feel. There are 3 deluxe songs. The first one is Nothing Compares, which I love so much. I love the pads and the keys, and the hook is so grand with those big drums leading into them, and again with those synths, I wanna melt. Abel seemingly comes to terms with his feelings for his ex, realizing that he'll never be able to shake her and he will probably always love her more than anybody else. The electric guitar line and clapping stay for the whole track and sound so fucking good. Misty was similar to Nothing Compares in that Abel is coming to terms that his ex was really the love of his life and he shouldn't have let her go and mistreated her. I like this beat a lot. It's not super complex and the simplicity of it is a little refreshing after an album with top tier production. The last track is Final Lullaby, and I think both Until I Bleed Out and this are very fitting ends to this journey. Like the title suggests, this song is very soft and somber like a lullaby as he sings to his ex as she can finally rest. The lyrics are short but hold a lot of weight, and I love how the track becomes more distorted as it goes on. It's a chilling track and I think it serves as a great outro. And with all that being said, here's the tracklist ranking. 10 out of 10. I fucking love this album so much. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm so tired. When I do these ranking videos, I will listen to an artist's discography constantly, right? 24/7. It's the only thing I listen to. So when I'm done with them, I take like a 3-month detox from that artist. So even though I just went off in the video and how much I love After Hours, I will not be listening to it for like a good 3 months. But seriously, thank you so much for watching. I almost made the deadline. I said in my last video that I was going to try and get this one out a month or 2 after that one, and it's just been like 2 months, a little more. So I'm so annoyed because that video came out in like August and now it's the beginning of November. I was close. I was really close. But it's out, so I don't really give a fuck. I was also on Gaijin's new album, and you should check it out. We did a great song together. It's really good. The whole album is really good. I'll put the link in the description. If you like my music, I think you'd like his as well. He has top tier production. I mean, the guy is great. I think you should absolutely check it out. And that's really it. Yeah, that's really it. I think this video is long enough. I already started working on my next video. I'm hoping for it to be out before Christmas. If it's not, then the video is useless because it's like a timely video. Then we'll try next year. As always, thank you so much for watching. Truly appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Mwah. Goodbye.
Close the window, don't you let that breeze in. Got the purple Nintendo on me for safekeeping. Match it with the purple diamonds on my neck, it's freezing. Catch me on a different island, I switch every season. Posted up in Puerto Rico in this natural pool. Coasting over to Aruba like it's casual too. Then I'm boating to Havana with the captain and crew. I'm trying to better myself and live immaculate, dude, yeah.